we are going to start Modern Agent Blueprint right now. Thank you guys all for joining. Excuse my surroundings today. Been out and about, and we want to talk today about why we love a cloud-based brokerage. So from day one, I have been with a cloud-based brokerage, literally from the very first day that I got before I even got my license, I knew this is exactly where I wanted to be. I knew that I wanted to, I really saw an opportunity so the brokerage I'm with is eXp Realty. It is the one that we're all at actually on this call. And I saw it as an opportunity that I had not ever even thought of or dreamt of prior to that. So I actually had met with Julie early on and Kelly, and it was kind of a no-brainer for me. And then as I've been in real estate, and I'm sure the rest of the people on this call can attest to, the more you talk to people who are at other brokerages, or you talk to them about, potentially moving over to eXp and moving their business, you kind of understand why these cloud-based brokerages are so popular and why people really seem to love them and want to stay at them. I'm in my 7th year. You talk to a lot of other agents, by year 7, they've probably been at 4 to 5 brokerages already when they're hopping around. And that's, most of the time they're hopping around brick and mortar to brick and mortar. I have been very happy with my decision to be at a cloud-based brokerage. I don't think that I would have seen the success that I have if I was at a small, boutique brokerage or a, brick and mortar. I just don't think that you necessarily see the bigger picture when you're kind of almost held back at some of these other brokerages. So I'm excited today to talk to you guys about why we have stayed at a cloud-based brokerage and why we chose it. And like Nikki's been to a couple different ones. I know Julie's been at a few different. So it's, great to have that perspective as well. And Kelly used to sell real estate back in the day, so she's got a little bit of a different perspective too on things. But we're going to kind of talk about how, cloud-based brokerages can help build your business and scale. And Marissa, while she's juggling a baby and all that other stuff, she's going to be helping with the presentation because I'm in my car. So Marissa, if you want to go ahead and share for right now, and then just share the main screen. And then maybe we have like Nikki and Julie just kind of chat really quickly about, or we'll start with Julie, since you were the one who kind of helped me make the decision to come over to eXp because you had already been here. Why don't you kind of talk about why you left KW to come over?
Yeah. So I guess I was, of the people on this call, I was the first one in, and kind of a pioneer in Michigan, I would say, because nobody knew what eXp was, even though eXp has been around, what are we, 15 years? No, 15 years? Yeah.
Since
that's
2009,
right. 2009, so 16 years, I think, is the anniversary. Man, I didn't know. I didn't know there was such a thing. So, I had only been licensed 2 years at Keller Williams. I didn't know any better. I just figured if I went somewhere else, it would be the same story, which is, your typical 30-70, 70-30, 80-20 split, right? And there's a cap, and then there's some money that goes to corporate, the national. And so I wasn't really looking for anything. However, I knew that at the age I was at the time, which was, I didn't get my license till I was like 48. So I'm like 50 years old at this point, thinking, okay, if I don't close the deal this month, there's 100% commission based. We've been an entrepreneurial couple, Lee and I, since we got married, right? So there was just like a lot of pressure there as a new agent. And I always asked myself, how am I going to catch up? We were in a tough financial place when eXp came along. And so for me, I will tell you right now, the reason I switched in 24 hours of learning about eXp was because I needed additional ways of earning revenue, earning income that I wasn't going to get at Keller Williams. So I really took a leap of faith with this cloud-based brokerage, especially with it being brand new in Michigan. And never regretted that decision, never looking back, never going anywhere else. It just, for me, was the ability to earn income in other ways. And also with our Icon program, with the production I was doing, I mean, any big agent would be nuts to be anywhere else if you're, in the icon agent status, where you can get that cat back. So just financially, and it just made total sense for me.
Yeah. Nikki, you want to talk a little bit about your decision making? And, you were at a couple different brokerages before you came over here.
Yep. So I started with Remax in 2018. As a new agent, I mean, we have we just now got Keller Williams. I'm in Northwest Ohio. So we had Remax was probably the only franchise brokerage around at the time here. Now there's a Coldwell Banker, but it's not very popular. We have like local brokerages, and flat fee brokerages. So definitely the cloud-based was not something prevalent here. As a new agent, I didn't mind Remax like for the training and stuff. However, they call it FEMAX for a reason. And I didn't feel like I was getting anything for the amount of money that I was investing in it. I was collaborating with other people outside of the brokerage, outside of the area, because it was a very scarce mindset. Nobody wanted to collaborate. They felt that, they were taking business away from themselves if they were working with you. So I got tired of that and felt like I could find a different brokerage that would be better for me. So I was looking at EXP, and I was also looking at a flat fee brokerage at the time. And honestly, the only reason I didn't go with EXP at the time was because I had already felt like I had been totally I'd spent so much money at Remax that I was like, I just need a year or two to just bank a ton of money. I kind of want to coast, and this flat fee brokerage was super cheap. Um, but you get what you pay for. So again, I did all my collaborating outside of that brokerage. That brokerage they had an office, but nobody worked there. It wasn't even big enough for people to work there. So everybody was kind of working from their homes and everything, very similar to a cloud-based brokerage anyways, but you lacked any kind of guidance and any kind of collaboration. I just felt like there was no inspiration. There was nobody to, they always say you are who you surround yourself with. So obviously you want to surround yourself with people who are better than you. I didn't feel like there was anybody better than me there. So I'm like, okay, so here we are again. We're stuck. So it was like a 2-year pattern. So I've been at EXP for 3 years. So I've broke my pattern so far.
Yay.
Yay. But the thing that I was finding is the people that I was collaborating with and the referrals that I was getting even at those brokerages were from agents at cloud-based brokerages, because we were all our marketing and our whole business concept was very similar to each other. We understood the power behind collaboration and the power behind, sharing what's working for us, and that there's enough business to go around. And in doing that, it only made our businesses better, because then we pass referrals back and forth to each other. I went to some really amazing retreats and conferences, and they weren't from these Remaxes or Keller Williams. Those weren't the people putting them on. They were people from cloud-based brokerages that actually wanted to invest in you. And since then, I've totally seen my business transform, and I'm much happier because of it. And I did Icon, which I didn't think I was going to, but that was awesome. And now that's a goal every year, obviously. And I've met some of my, very close friends through working with a cloud-based brokerage. So yeah, I'm here for a while, I would say. And I think that the people that don't give it a chance are kind of ignorant, honestly, like for lack of a better word, because they don't know any different. And I think because they don't know, it's scary to them.
Right. Well, I met with a brick and mortar here. They asked to interview me. I met with this brick and mortar company, and they're newer to this area. They are not a new brand by any means. And the amount of money that I would give up to go to that brokerage was absolutely asinine. And I'm talking about using my production from last year. I did about 18 million last year, which is still mind-boggling. I don't know how I did that. But if I went same business, I would have lost almost 90 grand
Oh my gosh.
just to be at this
Jeez.
brokerage.
Have a
$90,000.
Rolex.
That's insane.
I could get a Rolex or some sort of like, I could go through their like, jewelry catalog. Who freaking cares? I'd rather
A nice
than
car.
That's a real nice
That's what
car.
I was thinking, David. I'm like, that's a
house.
car. Like, that's an investment property.
Yeah,
like,
that's a house here in
holy
Toledo.
moly.
That's my kids' tuition for 3 years. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, no
Mhm.
way. So when I ran the numbers for that brokerage, I was just like, oh my gosh. And there are a lot of agents that are at this brokerage. And I know that, and this is one thing I will say, we're going to get into this a little bit. And we're not going to just spew a bunch of EXP on you guys. So don't worry. But we have everyone is on the same playing field. And that was one thing that I really liked about EXP from the beginning. Everyone is on an 80-20 split until you cap, and then you're 100% commission. The brokerage that I'm referring to, they were an 85-15, although I can tell you that I have heard many people say that they've negotiated a much better split, which one, I don't like that, because I don't want to be looking over at the person next to me and being like, I wonder what they're paying, or I wonder what they're paying. Oh my gosh, like, why am I getting screwed here? Did I not do enough? Am I not that valuable as that person? Like, I don't like that. So I like that EXP has an even playing field. But the kicker was with this one is you are paying 15% forever. There is no cap. So again, when you look at your numbers and you break it down, I'm sorry, but $90,000, or even if we're talking 30, 50, whatever, that's a lot of money for marketing. I mean, I guess that there is something to say about the brand recognition, but at the same time, most people want to work with you because they like you. They don't necessarily need the brand. Now, maybe in some luxury markets, there is a different vibe. In my marketing, in my neighborhoods, in my area, I don't think that the luxury brand is necessarily something that is necessary in order to succeed. So I just can't see myself needing, and a lot of the marketing too, it wasn't even like they offer it to you for free. Like, you get a template. I can create a template in Canva. Like, I don't need a I could literally copy their exact template right now and give it out to everybody. Like, it's not that hard. Right. So like, why in the world would I spend all of my money for a brokerage like that? It just doesn't make sense. Right. So, Kelly, you're off mute. Was there something that you wanted to say, or are you just accidentally off mute?
Oh, sorry. No, I'm accidentally off mute.
Oh,
sorry.
Okay.
I'll mute myself. Sorry.
No, there was no noise or anything. I just wasn't sure if you wanted to chime in. So, let's go back to, I'm like all discombobulated because I'm on my phone and I forgot we're still sharing screen. So, I'm going to have to, Marissa, do the slide, please. Okay. So, real estate has changed, but, let's think about like if these actual brokerages have changed at all, right? So our clients and our agents expect to have a little bit more flexibility. A lot of people don't want to have to go into an office. They don't want to have to do floor time. They don't necessarily want to have in-person meetings all the time because maybe they're working another job. Maybe they have kids. Maybe they have appointments where they really can't make the adjustments, or maybe not always can make adjustments in their schedule to be able to actually go into an office. People are expecting technology now. They want to have the best of the best. Like, we are in a technological world where, it's changing every single day and you have to be on top of that tech. So if you're using something completely outdated or something that is just cumbersome, nobody's going to want to use that technology, and you're going to start working your way out of the technology that they offer into finding different things. Obviously global reach is a big thing too, and making sure that you are, oh, here we go, making sure that you are, you know, finding people and networking, just like Nikki was saying, with agents outside of your area. What agents want today? Keep more of their money, right? Like, who doesn't want to keep more of their money? Like I was just talking about, there's no way in hell I would go to a brokerage where I'm going to lose $90,000 a year. That is just insane to me that anyone would be willing to do that. Building long-term wealth. People want a retirement plan, right? We don't have a 401k in real estate. We don't have a retirement plan. So a lot of people are living transaction to transaction, and that's tough. And we want to figure out ways to build long-term wealth. Maybe not somebody, maybe I don't want to have rental properties, or maybe I don't want to do that. I want to have a way that is easy for me to build wealth without having to do a whole lot. Elite trainings, mentorship. Obviously that's a huge thing. Julie was my mentor for a long time. And, you know, she taught me a lot of stuff, and she'll tell you guys, you know, I taught her a lot of stuff. So it was a great mentorship, and she's still one of my great friends. And I'm so indebted to her for all of the real estate help she's given me over the years. People want to be able to scale their businesses without having an overhead. And I can say, Dave, we can say having an office is not all that it's chalked up to be. Julie has an office too, but you know, you guys actually use your office. So, you know, going from having,
yes and no. I mean, I would say Lee uses it more, but yeah.
You have an office
Again.
there, and you know, you guys have agents who come in and close there and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah, we do.
It is, I think, helpful to have it if you use it, but a lot of people aren't using it. Dave, did you want to say something? I saw you pop off.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say that, well, first I was going to rub it in that I said from the beginning we shouldn't get an office, but second of all, I was going to say that, you know, I mean, an office isn't off the books. It's if your business warrants it, if you're doing well enough and you've got enough people and you're downlining your team or whatever, and it justifies the expense, sure.
Right.
So, and then obviously people want to work from anywhere, right? Like, I'm in my car today. Julie's in her car. Kelly looks like she's about to go play golf.
I'm at an appraisal, and then for my one listing, and then
See,
I'm going to
we're
play
all
golf
on the road. We're all on the road.
because
Right.
I don't have to go into an office, and I'm glad I don't. I'm
Right.
glad nobody makes me
Right.
come into an office. No, like, yeah.
Well, you know, so many people get into real estate because they want that flexibility. They want to be able to pick their kid up from school every day, or they want to be able to structure their day a certain way. So we do have that flexibility to a certain extent, which I think is incredibly helpful. So, you know, with our brokers, so with eXp Realty, your earnings, that equals your future, right? So we're 80-20 split with a 16K cap. If you're at a team, that can vary. We're not going to jump into all the logistics of all of that today. You're 1,000%. I wish 100% commission after you cap. So that means once you paid in that $16,000, you start getting 100% of your commission. Not many brokerages offer this. And this was one of those things that when I started in real estate, I was like, holy crap, you mean I can keep as much money as I earn? Like, that's crazy. I don't have to pay anybody. I love that. So that was a huge thing. Stock ownership and incentives. That is something, it's like our savings account, right? So like, you know, people tap into that for maybe they want to pay off credit cards. Maybe they want to buy an investment property. Maybe for taxes. Maybe you weren't super strategic about saving for taxes and you need that money. It's like a little bit of a savings account. So I think that's very helpful to have. Revenue share opportunities. Again, that's where we were talking about passive income and developing some long-term wealth. Agents that you bring into the brokerage and you share the way that the brokerage can help them. They come into your downline, and then you're able to actually earn revenue from their earnings without impacting what they earn in any way, shape, or form. There's no franchise fees, desk fees, or royalty fees like that forever 15% that we were just talking about on that other brokerage. Marissa, you can go to the next one. Thank you. So everything you need is built in. So with most cloud-based brokerages, you are going to have a lot of different things. They're all pretty tech savvy. It's just picking the one that fits you best, right? So a couple things that we like about eXp is that you have a CRM of choice. So there are multiple CRMs that you can choose from. That's a recent change. We always had KV Core, which then changed to Bold Trail. Now you have options for Lofty, and I can't remember the other one, but you have 3 choices. So you have your choice on which ones that
Bob
you
now too.
Oh, you could do Follow Up Boss now? Ooh, that's a good one. How do we cancel my membership to get that?
They do have the best parties. They do have the best parties.
They do. Best night of my life, guys. It's a great time. Marissa, we gotta look into how do we transfer that over. I gotta figure that out. Okay. eXp virtual office. I think this is one of the best things. So one of the pushbacks that I have gotten from people with eXp is, oh, well, you don't have a broker that you can go to. And that is quite possibly the furthest thing from the truth. I can talk to my brokers anytime I want to. It is very easy. You literally pop into your little virtual world, go into the broker office, and I can talk with them just like I'm talking to you guys right now. The only difference is they're little avatars. Who cares? I just need to get my question answered. It's almost like just taking a call on speakerphone. No difference there.
And there's 3 to choose from.
Yeah, and you have 3 different brokers. So a lot of times I'll talk to agents who have left certain brokerages, and they're like, yeah, like an agent I know was like, yeah, I would call my broker and I might hear back from them in a day or 2. Well, how are you going to be able to, excuse me, sorry, I just got a call. How are you going to be able to, let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb because I don't want that to happen again. So what happens when you have an emergency and you need to talk to the broker and you have no way of getting a hold of them because they're out of the office for some reason? So you end up getting stuck with having to wait. So with eXp, you never have to wait. Lots of marketing and lead gen tech stack. Like that's an amazing thing that we offer. We also have compliance support, transaction management, and all of that is right at your fingertips. You get to learn from the best too. So this was one thing that was really important to me as a new agent, was having training. So one thing that I love is that we have 50 plus hours of live training every single week. You can choose as many classes as you want or as few as you want. So for somebody who's been an agent for a while, you might not want to be in the world every single week doing classes. But if you're slow or there's certain things that you want to learn about, we have those opportunities for you. Icon classes, this is where I think is really incredible. So like Nikki was saying, you're in a smaller brokerage. It's a scarcity mindset. The person who's at the desk next to you doesn't want to tell you what's working for them because you might steal their business. That's a bad mindset to have. Here at eXp, we have a mindset of, collaboration. We give all of the knowledge we have. So icon agents are high producing agents who earn the icon status with eXp, and they are actually teaching classes in the world of real strategies that work and have helped them grow their business. You have mentorship programs for new agents, obviously masterminds and collaborations with top producers all over the world. Next slide, Marissa. I feel like I need a clicker. So do any of you guys, really quick before we keep going, I know a couple of you are off camera. Dave, do you have anything that you want to add into any of the stuff that you really like about like the tech or anything? Because I know you're a super tech savvy guy.
Yeah, well, I was going to jump in earlier. I was late to the game on that, but just talking about why I came in to begin with, because prior to this, running my own business, I had a ton of freedom, which was really important to me. I wanted to be involved in my kids' life when they were young and be around for all the important things. And so when I switched careers, I had that lifestyle for so long, I didn't want to give it up. So when I heard the model, that was my first initial draw to it. Then second after that would be the cap money situation. Like, where else can you earn back that cap money, which was huge. And I did that 2 years in a row. And then being surrounded by great agents, that was a big one. I don't think I would have done as well as I did, as quickly as I did, if I wasn't surrounded by tons of great agents that had a wealth of knowledge that would have taken me forever to learn on my own. And the fact that they weren't stingy about it, right? Which is what I hear happens the most in all the other brokerages, is where it's more territorial and people they're more protective of their information. And then the option to do referrals across the country, which is amazing. But as far as tech, I'll get back onto the tech. Yeah. you know, the fact that they have to be a tech-based brokerage, they're going to have to stay on the top end of it. Having access to all these options has been great, the CRMs. And, you know, I think if you're going to be a real estate agent, you need to learn how to manage these things regardless. So it's just part of the business. They're always going to be changing technology. You need to learn to adapt to it. If you don't, then you're probably going to fall off.
Yeah, I mean, the tech is changing, and I think even in the last couple of years, we've seen it just rapidly change with the AI and all of the stuff that has come out recently. You know, all of these tech companies, I'm sure, are just scrambling to stay ahead of the curve. And, you know, I think our brokerage has been around the longest as far as cloud-based brokerages. So, you know, I feel like a lot of these other companies are trying to catch up to us in a lot of the ways that, you know, we've developed our businesses throughout
But
the
also, yeah, but also a lot of those companies, because they're set up in a kind of a corporate structure, it's more top down. So if the top brass decides this is something everybody should learn, that's what you're going to learn. Whereas we have access to not only the whole country, but the whole world, essentially, of people in the real estate industry that are on the top edge of tech. So we can go to a class where somebody's deciding to do a class on Follow Up Boss or Lofty or whatever it is, or AI in general. And they're always going to be basically anybody in this country that's going to come up with a new idea or a new concept that applies to us in the tech world, they're going to want to go teach a class to all of our agents, and we have access to that rather than a top-down structure.
Yeah. Well, and so like what you were just saying, Dave, is, you know, you wanted to be able to work your free, you know, you were used to your freedom coming from a freelance photographer. So you had like your own schedule. Whereas I came from the dental world, Kelly came from the dental world, where we were, you know, you're stuck in an office from 8 to 5, and that's what you have to do. And, you know, hey, if a patient's running over, guess what? You're not picking up your kid from school today. If a patient's running over, guess what? You're not going to be able to get dinner tonight, or you're not going to be able to, you know, do whatever. So it's having that freedom to be able to structure your day. As you know, a lot of what you're doing is structuring it around your clients, but you can also structure it around your day specifically. So you can work anywhere with Wi-Fi. I mean, you know, you can work from your phone 90% of the time.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that one.
Right.
I've closed deals in Costa Rica, negotiating deals in Fiji a couple months ago. It's honestly the only reason why, not the only reason, but I want to be able to have that freedom. And I have a young child at home too. So like, I want to be able to do muffins with mom and be a part of his classroom too. Now, to be honest, like when you're running a business, you're running a business, obviously, but the technology with the cloud-based is definitely gives the freedom to work wherever you want to, as long as you have Wi-Fi. So
yeah,
that's
and
definitely
it's
it.
it's very helpful. I mean, I think we've all been able to take vacations and still be able to write offers and do all that stuff. And it's really helpful. And, you know, again, you have your core people here that you can lean on when you need somebody to show a house or something like that. So it's helpful to have your little group too. So obviously, you know, we want to grow without limits. So you have one brokerage, one cap for the whole world. So you can be licensed in multiple states and share one cap. That is something that I don't hear about really with many brokerages. I know some have started doing that, but it is not everywhere. So what that means is if I'm licensed here and in Florida, I have the same cap. That same $16,000 applies for both states. So a lot of times what people would do before is they'd work at one brokerage up here and one brokerage down there, and then they'd have a split on both and a cap at both. And so excuse me, you're working double as hard to try to meet your goals, but you're doing separate businesses. So it makes it a lot more difficult. So it's nice to have one cap for both. You have consistent systems and branding everywhere, and team specific caps and structures if you decided to start a team or if you have a team that's coming over. Financial leverage. So this is a big one, right? So you have your revenue share. So this is for teams. So if you're doing, I have a team, I do mine a little bit different than some of the other teams, but you have team revenue share. So I have revenue share from my agents on my team, and then from agents who are not on my team, but are in my downline. So I am basically collecting money for doing nothing. I mean, with my team, I am helping them, but for the agents who, like Nikki is in Toledo, she doesn't call me and need help all the time. But I'm still earning money when she sells homes. So it's really helpful, and it doesn't impact her in any way, shape, or form. But it gives me more incentive to help her when needed, because it helps both of us put food on our table for the kids. For teams, you have options based on your production. You can offer an 8K cap, you can offer a 4K cap if you qualify. And there are certain qualifications that you have to do in order to do that. It's based on production, or team members. And with that, there's different stipulations. Again, if you have questions or anything like that, feel free to reach out. We can go in depth on that. We're not going to go super deep on all that today. But you get to scale without the overhead. And the biggest thing that I have heard so many people talk about is you don't have the liability, right? So if you are a boutique brokerage and you are, running your own thing, you got your own E&O, if somebody gets sued, they're suing you. At this company, you could still get sued, but they're going to sue EXP. We got a little bit more deep pockets over there. It's a little bit less scary than having all of that liability on you and your family.
This is not to interrupt, but this is also one of the biggest reasons why I love a cloud-based brokerage and EXP. And I've been with them second under Julie, forever. And it's the nice part of it is like people are like, oh, you want to get your broker's license? I'm like, why would I? I can still make money like a broker and, in my different downlines, but I don't have the liability, but I also help people in my downline. So I don't want to have that liability and have to constantly put out fires, because I still want to sell real estate, but I also want to have some, of the revenue share, but I don't want to have those liabilities. Like that's the scary stuff.
Right,
Anyway.
right. Exactly. So
real quick, in Ohio, okay, if I were to start my own brokerage, and I'm in Ohio, but I'm also close to Michigan, I would have to have 2 physical offices if I was doing business in Michigan and Ohio. That's a lot of overhead.
That's a lot of overhead.
That's a lot of overhead. So it's like, why would I do that when I could, when I'm allowing EXP to cover all that overhead?
That's a lot of coffee cups and coffee makers and people and staff and all the other stuff. So yeah, and rent. Yeah.
Utilities, rent.
Yeah, rent, all of that.
Yeah, it adds up very quickly. So, and you don't necessarily think about all of that going into it. And, pretty quickly you start to be like, oh my gosh, like, did we really need this, $800 printer that, nobody really uses? Did we really need all of this? So it is, it's been a learning experience. We'll say that. But, I think it's important to know that you can bring your team over and you have options. So you can empower your entire team. So, and obviously empower yourself, right? So you have the Icon agent trainings, you have team members gain access to coaching built right into the platform, collaboration culture. They have things like Fast Cap. There's different things to bring over your agents. You have Thrive and Boost. There's a lot of different things that you can jump into to help with transitioning over to your broker, the cloud-based brokerage. You have savings and you can reinvest into marketing, staff, and leads, which are obviously what are more important than overhead of a building. And collaboration culture. We've talked about it 100 times already. The collaboration here is unheard of, and I am part of a lot of these different local masterminds, and I see minimal collaboration. Still, people are like, oh, I don't want to tell them all my secrets. But like, hey, if I'm doing something and it's working for me, it could totally work for you. And I see that in some of the stuff where, like one person might be doing some certain social media stuff and you're like, oh, I really like what you're doing, who you're using. And they don't want to tell you who they're using because they don't want you to steal their ideas. But it's like, we can both do similar things and have similar audiences, but have completely different client experiences and different clients coming to us. There's plenty of business to go around. And I think a lot of times we get, a lot of these people have scarcity mindsets where they think that, this is, you're going to take all the business and then they're not going to have any. And that's just not how life works. Right. Marissa, you can go to the next one. So why cloud-based beats brick and mortar. I thought that said BGM. I was like, what's the G stand for? I was like, shoot, I'm not familiar with this term. Brick and mortar. Okay. So go ahead and move to the next one. So you can network
Some of
without.
this might, Nicole, sorry to interrupt, but like feel free to tell me, just keep going, because you guys started with a lot of the things that are in here. So like feel free to just skip over and whatever too, and I'll just keep going. I'm your clicker.
Okay. So here, we talked about this before, right? Networking without borders. So I love that you can network with people all over the place. Like I said from the very beginning, I think this is why I have done so well in business, is because I feel like I have been able to see a much bigger picture than what I think I would have been able to see if I was just at a small brokerage in my town. I just don't think that I would have seen as much growth and as much opportunity as I did with a cloud-based brokerage, because you are able to collaborate so deeply with other people that it's just a different vibe. It's a much different vibe, and it feels good, and you're, collaborating with people and learning and growing constantly. With so many people all over the place and meeting people at these events and stuff, it's great to be able to do all these collaborations, and obviously referrals. You can go ahead, Marissa. So accessibility, obviously we talked about this a little bit earlier. You have, as long as you have a laptop or a phone, you can literally work anywhere. You have all the support staff, everything is right online. So if you need anything, like maybe for some reason you submitted all your paperwork, but for some reason you haven't gotten paid yet or something, or maybe there's a glitch. You can literally pop into the broker world, transaction world, pop in there, say, hey, I just noticed I haven't gotten paid yet. I submitted the documents yesterday, and they're like, oh, let me do that for you. And they'll take care of it for you right then and there. Or if you have a question, maybe you need to change your name or change your account number or something. It's so easy. You just pop in there, they take care of it for you, and you're done. Quicker than if you were actually calling somebody. By the time you dial their number, wait for them to answer, ask your question, I could be in the world and already in front of a broker or in front of a staff member within seconds, with no issue whatsoever. And go ahead, Marissa. We already talked about the trainings. So future-proof your business. So, obviously with being a cloud-based brokerage, we talked about staying on top of all of the changes in technology and all of that. You're able to really expand your market without having full office build outs. You can work from your home anywhere you want to. If I decide I want to move to Fort Lauderdale, I could easily do that, keep my same cap, keep a license here. I don't have to reestablish an office. I don't have to do any of that. I could just move and start my business somewhere else. And I don't have to do anything besides have another license in another state. It's very simple, very easy. Even if I decided to move to Florida and still do business in Michigan, if I'm not doing business in Florida, I don't need one there. I could work there. I could snowbird all winter in Florida and still have a license active in Michigan and do real estate. So again, you can work from anywhere. It's amazing. You get to align with what clients are looking for as, in a digital world that we're in. You get to stay resilient to downturns. Like, how many people during COVID realized very quickly, we don't need an office. We don't need these people showing up here. We don't need the overhead for all of this. I mean, when Dave and I had our office, we were paying $4,000 a month in rent. We were paying several $100s in utilities, not including the build out of everything, so you end up paying thousands and thousands of dollars, and you might get a handful of agents who show up occasionally, so that
was going to be my question. How many show up? Like,
exactly. Hardly any. I own the office and I never went. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Dave didn't go because Dave lives 45 minutes away, so like, a lot of the time that's how it was.
And even long after, people still didn't show up.
No, our ex business partner still has the office. Nobody goes in. So, it's one of those things where I think that is such a pushback. People want an office. Bye, Julie. Thank you. People want an office, but for what? Is it just for that
Yeah, do they actually use it?
Right. Like, is it just for that like cushion? Like, you could go in if you wanted to. Like maybe your power's out and you want to go in. Like, who go to a coffee shop?
Or
you know, like,
status.
what'd you say?
Or status.
Right. Yeah, maybe status. I mean, like I said earlier, I think some people like the status of, certain brands or whatever, or the status of having an office where you
Yeah,
can
but
have
the real flex is freedom anyway, so who cares?
Right. And the money in your bank account.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right. So that is one thing. And I remember one thing I remember somebody saying very early on, and I heard it and I'll never forget it. And, because you'll talk to people who are like, you're interested in having them join you at the brokerage and partnering with you. And they're like, oh, I'm very loyal. I am so loyal to my broker. And you're like, okay, but you're giving up thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So who are you more loyal to, your family or your broker? And that was something that always stuck with me. It's like, okay, I can love you to pieces, but if I'm going to lose $90,000 a year, I don't love you that much. Like, I could not possibly love you that much. So I'm gonna
begin to really dislike you.
Right. I'm gonna go over here. Well, that's something like I think a lot of agents don't do is they don't look at the numbers. They look at the bright flashy things, right? We're all a little like squirrel, like chasing the shiny object, like you see something and you're like, oh, I have to have that. I want that, and then you don't really take the time to look at what it would actually cost you. I mean, when I ran the numbers for that other brokerage, I ran the numbers as a $10 million producer, 20 and 5. Still, the amount you're giving up, even at a $5 million producer number, you are still giving up so much money. And at that point, you are not like you're doing well, but you're not doing so well that you can afford to lose out on that money for the little bit of marketing that they're providing for you. Right. So like that money is super important. And that's the money that you need to stack away for those rainy days. So
think what you could be doing with that money, marketing yourself.
Right. Exactly. And I think too many people get too caught up in marketing the brand and not marketing themselves. And that's where, if you change brokerages, you end up with, all of your stuff branded. You're so branded to this company that
that's a big one for me, because I always try to tell agents is your brokerage isn't the business, you're the business. And if you spend all this effort, time, and money marketing their brokerage and then you move, then you're starting all over again. Now you got to get all new materials. It's like, if you're putting that much effort into marketing yourself, put it into yourself. It's literally an investment in yourself.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, I tell people all the time, like, you're here to build your business. And that's one thing I really liked about eXp from the beginning is you can build your business how you want, right? You can, if you want to work 10 hours a week and sell 1 house a year, 2 houses a year, sure, you can. But you also are able to sell $20 million a year. You're also able to, choose the hours you work, choose the days you work, obviously, depending on your clients. But you have that ability where I don't have to go in and do floor time and answer calls. And if I decide I want to, give a discount out of my commission for, this person's a vet and I want to give them a discount or like a first responder discount or something, I can work that into my business model. And it's not, like the brokers don't throw a fit about it. Right. So it's nice to be able to have that ability. I joke sometimes and call eXp the no rules brokerage, even though there are obviously rules, but you can run your business how you want to run your business. And you can have a team, you can have a structured team, an unstructured team, you could have a mega team. There's so many different options. If I just wanted to work with Dave and Dave and I wanted to become a team, we don't have to officially make a team. We could just be a team, and I think that a lot of the other brokerages are a lot more strict about a lot of these things. So
not to interrupt, but that's honestly one of the biggest things I love about us. I want to run my business the way I want to, as long as you're not breaking major rules and, obviously things that are by law and stuff like that. I mean, there's no reason why someone should be telling you exactly how to run your business. And as long as you're making money and driven, do what you want.
Exactly. So, the next slide is what we've experienced at eXp. So we've talked a lot about that throughout this whole thing. I mean, I think the biggest thing that we've talked about so much is tech, the collaboration, the money savings, you know, all of that. Marissa, do you have anything? I know you're probably dealing with baby. Is there anything you want to say or anything?
So on the team side, because that's typically like my role, I do a small amount of transactions. But really, like, I've worked with a lot of teams that are primarily eXp, and then I've also worked with a lot of teams that are not eXp or different brokerages. The biggest thing is how easy it is to come into eXp, and which is another like big thing if you are trying to attract or grow a team. The onboarding process, like, you could literally move your license, bring all your transactions or anything with you, bring your listings, and it happens like that because the team and staff supporting you and backing you up, not only are they available anywhere, anytime, but like it's fast and it's immediate and they're on their stuff and they know it. Now, I will say I've heard a few states specifically are not as on top of things, but that seems to be very far and few between. 99% of anyone in eXp, admin wise or support wise, that I've worked with, which has been a lot of people, they are awesome and they're on their stuff and they want to see you win. Like, they truly are so supportive. And I think that's a big difference too, right? Because like maybe you have one admin. Well, what if she's off? What if she's on maternity? What if she's whatever, right? Like, well, then I might not be able to bring my transactions over right away. So then now I'm stuck at my old brokerage. Now I can't move. What if something gets messed up or missing? So it's just having this huge, very vast support system. Like, my business is never relying on one or two people. So similar to like having a really large brokerage team with every state and not having to take on any of that liability, you also have a huge support team. And it makes things really seamless. So I think that's like the other big difference that I see all the time working with lots of teams and even individual people, right? Because Nicole, Nikki, like you guys all bring over agents and top producing agents. Well, it makes a big difference when I can lock in that cap that I've already capped for the year. I don't have to restart. I can bring over everything seamlessly. I've got a team that will do it for me because I'm an agent. I don't want to do admin stuff, right? I want to go sell more business. Well, there's teams to do that for me, and it's seamless. That's, to me, I think one of the biggest differences.
Yeah, I love that. Nikki, I know you have to hop off here in a second. Is there anything else you want to add about what you've experienced at eXp that is really keeping you here?
Honestly, like, thankfully I don't run into a lot of issues, but when I do, there's always somebody there to figure it out. And the follow-up's really good. I remember when I first came over, and I was trying to figure out 𝗏𝗏 because we use .loop. I mean, there was somebody at eXp that was training my transaction coordinator on how to use 𝗏𝗏. So I mean, I feel like they just go above and beyond to help you, which is really nice.
And there's so many training classes on all those systems and stuff because, again, like, you want to obviously know the systems and understand the systems and all that stuff. And, there's not that many systems for you to learn. But it's great that we have all the training and you have the support staff. So if you run into an issue, you can easily pop in, talk to somebody, have a chat, and then be on your way within minutes. So it's very helpful. Marissa,
well, okay, one thing, and I do have to run, but we also have Slack. So like, if you're not into going into the cloud, because I know there's some people that are like, oh my God, this just seems like a pain. Like, you can ask your brokers whatever questions you want through Slack, which is obviously like direct messaging.
Yeah. So that's a newer thing. We had a different system before. And now the Slack system is new. I think it's a little clunky trying to get used to it. I think there's a little bit of a struggle trying to figure out how to use it. But once you figure out how to do the messaging and do everything in that system, it's like anything else, right? Like, everything's hard until it isn't. So you'll figure it out, and then all of a sudden you're a pro at it. So
and that goes all the way up to our CEO. Like, you could literally message Leo in Slack and like he will respond. I think that's pretty cool too. Like it's not just like your broker, your support staff. It is every single human being in EXP. You've got access at your fingertips. So other top agents and producers. And I don't remember who was talking about, Nikki, I think at the beginning, either you or Julie, of like your previous brokerage, you were one of the tops and like you're the, or if you're the only top, right? And there's a lot of non-producers in your space, like that's just going to drag you down. Well, okay, if you're on your own or you have a team or you're on a team or whatever, and you're like, man, I feel like I'm like hitting the ceiling here. There is no ceiling at EXP. I promise you, unless you are like the crazy 1% that are just doing insane business, then like there's still other people competing with you, whether it's your state or nationally. Like the ceiling is insane at EXP. So the level of people and producers and big thinkers, it's wild. You will never outproduce or feel like I'm bored here. I don't have enough like of those producers to bounce things off of. It's crazy. And you could message any of them anytime.
Yeah. It is.
There's so many people to learn from.
Right. And that's so incredibly true. And that's, again, it goes back to like, if you're just at a little brokerage at in your house, or like even a big brokerage in your town, like how many people are willing to share their stuff with you? How many people are willing to actually like put in the time and effort to chat with you about what questions you have? Or, hey, like there's an agent in Indiana who does an insane amount of business. So I've been on the phone with him and I'm like, hey, tell me what you're doing. What are you doing with Google? What are you doing for leads? What's your lead generation look like? How do you do this with your team? How do you run your team? Like he's free to give me everything. Like he's telling me all the different stuff. And he's like, oh, let's look at your Google together and let's do this. Like people are so willing to help and you just don't see that in other places. It's just too much of a scarcity mindset. And so I am beyond happy with being here at eXp Realty. There's other brokerages out there that are cloud-based that have great reputations too. This is just where I have found my home and I really enjoy it. Marissa, thank you so much for being on here, and Kelly too. I know you got to hop off here in a second, but thank you guys all for joining us. We hope that if you have any questions or anything, you can obviously feel free to book a call with Nikki and I, and we can go through how eXp can help your business. And there is Marissa's sharing the screen again. She's going to share for us to go ahead. Or is that what you're doing? Sorry. Or did you?
I was trying to, but then it took me to a different page. So of course, technical difficulties, but
That's
I will
okay.
share it one more time.
You can message us anywhere. You can find us. You know our names. You can find us anywhere. Feel free to reach out anywhere and you can schedule a call with Nikki and I, and we can talk to you about how you can grow your business. So everyone have an awesome day. And I hope you have learned how the cloud-based brokerages can work for you. Bye, everyone. Bye, Marissa. Thank you.